Council, I'll try to move quickly, so if I go too fast, just raise your hand and we'll slow down. But we've talked about this several times over the past few months, and we do have representatives of STAR here to answer any technical questions. But basically, what we have done to address the council's plan for transit in the future is to look at not only expanding the service, but to also look at ways to determine where we go from this point on. So just as a reminder, we have two services that we provide. We have a demand response service, which is the former MTED service. This is where riders call in and schedule a trip, and we take them to a variety of types of appointments. The fares range from $1 to $12, depending on the need and the distance traveled. We also have the Compass service, which basically serves from Hanby Stadium to DART's Longview Station. As you will recall, we have terminated our agreement with DART and are solely working with Star Transit on this service. Last year, we had reduced the service to eliminate midday service, which allowed us to expand some of our demand response services that we provide. Our current service options, demand response, just so everybody knows, we run from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's using 10 vehicles that run about 8 hours a day. And then Compass runs from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 3:30 to 7:30 p.m. And those are 2 vehicles. And how we measure and how we are billed for services is based on total hours. So that's why that 96 total hours daily is important. So our proposed plan for moving forward is no changes to the demand response. We are going to further reduce the Compass hours and use the savings from the reduction in Compass hours to implement what's called mobility on demand. What this does allow is increases demand response with supplemental from mobility on demand by 16 to 24 hours. So we're basically achieving 106 total hours of daily service. With the reduction in Compass, we did a lot of public feedback, and a lot of the current riders really came out and made a case for leaving the fixed route service in place with between Hanby and DART. We are not proposing any additional stops along there, but we are also reducing the number of trips that we make. And so instead of serving it on an every half-hour basis, we will serve on an every hour basis. We still feel like we can provide all of the services and not impact those current riders. Mobility on demand is new to Mesquite, and it's basically an app-based service. Star has acquired an app that you can use from your phone, or you can still call into their main number. And basically, this should be same-day service. The goal is to arrive within 15 to 20 minutes of when you request the ride. There will be some advanced scheduling options, so if you wake up that morning and need a ride, you might be able to schedule a ride later in the day. But it will not be the 2 to 3 week scheduling option that you currently have with demand response. The fee structure, it'll be $3, and the rides will be within the travel zone, and there will be a discount for seniors and disabled riders. This is a shared service. It's not quite an Uber service where you get your own car, but if 2 people are going in a similar direction, you might the driver might stop and pick up a couple of people. It is going to be operated by a Star Transit driver. It'll be a smaller vehicle, but it addresses any safety concerns with who is giving the rides. And we are going to implement an age restriction on it to 13 and above. we felt that anything younger than 13 might have some safety issues. And so that's where we landed on that. We are also encouraging everyone to think small at the beginning. We want to make sure we understand the service, we understand how it works, and we can educate people. It'll always be easier to grow the zone rather than shrink it. So we're proposing the area that's shown on the map, the shaded area. It does travel all the way to Hanby Park and Ride, and all the way up to I-30. It covers two of the areas that council identified as major areas, which was Town East Mall and then the Dallas Regional Medical Center District. We do have one shaded area up at the DART's Lake Ray Hubbard Transit Center, where people from this zone could travel to that park and ride facility for bus service. And we have goals. We want to make sure that we have an average wait time of 11 minutes, that no one waits for more than 55 minutes for a ride. And as we look at this, we're looking at doing 50 trips a day. If it works out and it's popular and people outside of this zone start calling in and requesting it, we'll be able to make adjustments as we move along. Again, keeping in mind that the total budget allocation will not change. Some of the data points we're going to be tracking are the number of trips, the number of cancellations, who's using the app, the phone app, the distance, where the requests are made for outside of the zone, and then getting feedback from riders. And just to show the total budget, the cost per trip is going to average about $3.89. And this does not include the grants. This is just the total funds from the city through general fund and 4B that will pay for transportation. So the Compass revisions that we talked about are going to implement October 1. STAR had asked for a little bit more time to launch the Mobility on Demand STAR Now app. That'll give us a little bit more time to advertise and educate citizens on the change. Just for council's awareness, just what it would cost to expand as we look into the future. Larger travel zone for Star Now could be a $60,000 impact on the budget. If we were to extend hours, it'd be a $30,000 impact. If we wanted to add additional hours to demand response, which is still highly used, and we still turn away a lot of riders, that would be a $40,000 increase just to add a significant number of hours. And then if we were to say that there was a lot of ridership wanting to go between Town East Mall and the Hanby Park and Ride, which would be an internal circulator route or another fixed route, implementation of that would probably be around $66,000. And then if we find that we're getting feedback on Compass route to add 8 hours back to that, that's a $40,000 impact. I just wanted council to be aware of what the budget looks like moving forward as we expand our transportation service.
Some of you were at the meeting that they had, and some of the concerns about the mobility on demand is, Uber and Lyft, for the most part, works great, but every now and then there's some issues with drivers and people and who they are and things like that. So this is using the same service we still have. We think that's great. They think some of the hours will be used from the Hanby ride, that some of those drivers can pick up smaller vehicles and they'll be here. So we're taking advantage of some things that hopefully will kick this off. The zone itself gets you from, like you said, if you want to go all the way up to Lake Ray Hubbard and get into the DART system, you can. But it covers Town East and it goes all the way south out to Creek Crossing. And hopefully some of the people that aren't able to get on the demand response, maybe their trips are in that zone. And so that's kind of the hope as well. I think it's a good start. Transportation is going light years forward, and things like driverless vehicles and all are there. I would have thought 5 years ago there's no way, and they're being used all over Dallas-Fort Worth in certain applications now. So I think this starts us down that road to get our folks around in Mesquite better than they've ever been able to do in the past, so.
Oh, I think it's a great change, moving in that direction of meeting the needs of the folks and listening to those needs. So the riders right now that are using Hanby, they'll be taken care of pretty much. There's not really any that'll be coming back after 6 then, because at 6 o'clock, the mobility on demand stops. Is that right? At 6 p.m., the mobility on demand stops.
Correct.
And there's not really any other riders that come in after 6 that may need that.
That question was brought up, and we have yet to experience anybody who's been stranded. If it has, it's been somebody who has made other arrangements. But most of the riders know when the buses are going to be at Longview. Most of the drivers know who the regulars are, and so we really don't experience anybody left behind.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? This is on consent tonight?
Yes, sir. It's item number 25 would be the changes to the supplemental agreement for Star Transit.
Okay. Questions, comments? Okay. All right.